All right. After the Jazz lose two in a row to the Minnesota Timberwolves, they of course against the Sacramento Kings minus Mike Conley minus Donovan Mitchell score the most points in team history. Let's talk about it. This is the Hoops Nerd postgame show. I did not expect what happened tonight, although the Kings, let's just talk about the Kings a little bit. The Sacramento Kings have one of the worst defenses in the league, and that was before they had half their starting unit resting and not playing. You know, Harrison Barnes was out. De'Aaron Fox was out. Perhaps maybe the tank is on for the Sacramento Kings at this point. And if the tank is on, they did a really good job because the Utah Jazz scored the most points in team history in a near 50-point victory. If the Kings wouldn't have hit a three at the very end, we could have said 50 points. Instead, it's a 49-point win for the Jazz. Thanks a lot, Luke Walton. There's a lot of reasons you need to be fired, and that's probably number one, is not letting the other team beat you by 50. That's just irresponsible, among other things that Will Luke Walton does with that team. But by the way, Kings fans, let me know in the comments, at what point during this game did you want Walton fired? Was it at the beginning, the end, during the middle? Was it when the Jazz were on their third string and Matt Thomas went 7 for 7, hitting every single shot he took? I don't know. But that was a nice win for the Utah Jazz. A very bad loss for the Sacramento Kings. I don't know if you can recover from that if you're the Sacramento Kings. I will say there was one thing for the Kings, and like we always do, let's talk about the Kings first. I was excited to see Tyrese Halliburton. He started. He had the worst plus minus of the team, although let's see. Yeah, he just did. So basically, when he was on the floor, they did not do very well. Although I don't think that's his fault because he was sharing the floor with Chimezie Metu, who I am learning about today, Rashawn Holmes, Maurice Harkless, and Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield, not exactly the best defender you've ever seen. I do actually like Rashawn Holmes. He's one of those guys that's, he's made a nice little home for himself in Sacramento. I don't think he is a nice backup center in my opinion. That's who he is to me. Other than that, I don't know. Guys, it looks like the stream might not be going great. But if it is good, if not, well, I think it's because I have Illustrator open and I'm not going to close it just yet. But anyways, so tough thing for the Kings. There's not a lot to say about them. They're losing. They're fighting for kind of that play-in tournament. And I don't know if it's going to happen for them. But they do. The consolation for this season is Tyrese Halliburton. And if the Kings can get another nice pick, I don't know their pick situation. So Kings fans, let me know in the comments, what is the pick situation for the Kings? I'm sure I hope they have their own pick. I'm guessing they do. We'll see what they get. This is a pretty decent draft from everything I hear and see. They might be able to get a nice guy. And if you can combine De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton and another nice guy, you've got like the makings of a good team. I still like Marvin Bagley, who didn't play tonight as well. I still think he has a chance to be something. But the thing is that's really tough when you're a Kings fan is when you have a horrible, terrible, bad coach like Luke Walton is. He's terrible. I don't know. That was a bad hire from the moment I saw the moment I saw that they had hired him. You knew that was a terrible hire, and you knew it was going to go bad. And the thing about hiring a coach, and a bad one, and knowing from the very beginning he's a bad coach, it means you're going to have just a long period of bad basketball, bad basketball because, one, you don't know how good your players are because you don't know if they're being badly coached, and bad coaches ruin players. They just do. So if you have someone like Marvin Bagley, maybe he can go to someone else, but he might be ruined at some point where I don't know if he's good. I don't know. He's just, yeah. Luke Walton and Furby Jr., you're right. Luke Walton is a bad coach and a worse human being. He's bad. We know the allegations. I've heard stories from people who have been around town with him when he's like visited to play the Jazz, and creepy dude, maybe, allegedly, maybe not. Maybe he's great. They're just I don't need to be sued, all right? But anyways, not a good coach and probably not a good guy. But anyway, so I'm sorry, Kings fans. You've got a coach that, one, you don't win games. That's one thing that happens when you have a bad coach. And two, you don't develop players. How good is Marvin Bagley? No one knows. No one knows. Because Luke Walton's a terrible coach. And the Kings are just still not a great organization. And, I think that owner cares. We'll see if he can figure things out with them, but not look good right now. Not good right now. Guys, I'm just looking at the bit rate. It's just not going great. It's not going great. And so I don't know why, but hopefully it's going smooth for you. If not, we'll see. I think I know why, but we're not going to do that. Sorry, Kings fans, but congrats on Tyrese Halliburton. That is nice. So when Luke Walton gets fired, at least you have a nice player in him. You have a nice player in De'Aaron Fox. Harrison Barnes is a nice player that's turned into a nice piece. And if you can get another guy in the draft, who knows? You've got a young core to build around. Fox, Halliburton, and someone else is pretty nice, to be honest. I actually think the Kings could be a lot better if they had a good coach and a good organization. When we talk about organizations, it's not just a coach, it's not just an owner. You have like a good general manager. Vlade Divac, is he still the general manager in Sacramento? I can't even remember. He might not be. But he was terrible. And if you have a terrible general manager like Vlade Divac, if you hire someone like that who has no idea what they're doing, because running an NBA team is more than just simply making draft picks and hiring a coach. Like, it's so much more than that. You've got multiple departments that you need to run. But if you don't know what departments you even need to have, like a Vlade Divac, who probably has no idea how a winning organization is run and set up, you're going to fail. Like when Dennis Lindsey came to Utah, he came in and he beefed up the scouting department. He beefed up the analytics department that did not even exist. Guys, when Dennis Lindsey came to the Jazz, they had like their draft team was like, you could count them people on one hand. The Jazz have beefed up their organization to a huge level where you have a full analytics team that did not even exist before Dennis Lindsey came to the Utah Jazz. The scouting team has been upgraded exponentially. Other departments, the Jazz have had multiple times where they've upgraded their health facilities. The guys who take care of the health of the Jazz players. I'll just be honest. I've heard stories about how the Jazz health team used to run, and even during the beginning years of Dennis Lindsey, as they tried to figure that out, where they just weren't very good. And the Jazz went and got that health guy from that VP of health strategies from the Phoenix Suns. They hired a good guy to run that and someone who knows what they're doing and have set up a staff that knows what they're doing. I mean, if you're Vlade Divac and you don't know what you're doing, how do you even know to build all these different things? How do you know the tree of hierarchy for an entire department, let alone multiple ones? By the way, JT Wardell upgraded membership to All-Star. Welcome to All-Star. We got an All-Star on our hands. JT, welcome. Buckets JT. That's your nickname now. Buckets JT Wardell. I love it. Kind of like Steph. Isn't that kind of Steph's middle name or something like that? Buckets JT. There we go. But anyways, you've got Vlade Divac, doesn't know what he's doing. Luke Walton, creepy weirdo, bad coach. You've got an owner who seems like he's at least passionate, so you've at least got that going for you. He seems like he cares and wants to be good, but he's never owned a team before, and you've never had the ownership that he took over from did not know what they were doing. So you were buying a dumpster fire, and you hired someone who's not, I don't even know. Like, you hired like a garbage man to take out the dumpster fire. You needed to just like, I don't know. That's a bad metaphor. I don't know. The Kings are a dumpster fire. I do not foresee them getting any better anytime soon until they clean house. Vlade Divac needs to go. He may not even be the manager anymore. We don't even know. I don't even know. Let me know, Kings fans. I don't know. If someone wants to Google it and let me know in chat, that'd be awesome. But Vlade Divac, absolutely horrific. To pick, and I like Marvin Bagley, but to pick Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic, unreal. So bad. And so we go to the Jazz, and by the way, there's not a lot to say about this game. We will talk about it. DW to CB, Ryan Qualtrics has never owned a team either. True, but one of the benefits that Ryan Smith has is that he's coming into an organization that's already running well. He's picking up a Ferrari with the keys into the ignition. The oil just got changed. It's got new. It's just like running on all cylinders. That car's ready to just turn on and go. If you're what's his name? I keep forgetting. I don't remember his name. Vivek. I think it's Vivek is the owner of the Kings. You're buying cash for clunkers. You're buying cash for clunkers, and you got to make that run, and it's clunking. It's clunking. And it's like, honestly, that's the better metaphor. It's like buying a car, buying cash for clunkers, having to figure that out, and like not knowing how to build a car, And you hired a guy who has a driver's license. It's like a race car driver. You hired a race car driver to build a car. He knows how to drive a car really well. Doesn't know how to build one. He doesn't know what parts go into building a cash for clunker car. You need to hire a mechanic. That's what you got to do. That's what the Jazz did. The Jazz said, "Hey, you know what? Tyrone Corbin is terrible. He's really bad. Kevin O'Connor, he's old and outdated and doesn't have an analytics staff and doesn't believe in a big scouting department and relies on like intel from other connections he has within the league." That's Kevin O'Connor. Dennis Lin, the Jazz said, "Hey, that was the best thing they ever did too, was hiring Dennis Lindsay, because they said, hey, we like that Ferrari in San Antonio. Let's hire one of their mechanics, and he can come in and teach us how to build a Ferrari, And that's what he did. And that's what the Jazz are. The Jazz right now are just like rolling. And now they have an owner in Ryan Smith who's like, he's the big old sponsor that has all the money to buy even better parts and an even faster car and an even newer paint job and can also build out a new racetrack that maybe other players want to race on with their team, And you can hire even better mechanics and Dwayne Wade. Anyways, the Jazz are just better than the Kings in every single way, whether it's on the court, in the front office. Although the Kings do have a nice social media guy. He's pretty funny. Girl, I don't know. It might be a guy, it might be a girl. I don't know. Whoever it is, they're really, really good. Tonight it was really nice to see Bojan, especially in the first half, looked so good. I know he was only 1 for 5 from 3, but Bojan looked fantastic. 24 points, and he was getting buckets in the post. Bojan's back. Bojan is back. I'd like to see, obviously, the three-point percentage be just a tiny bit more consistent. But 7 for 16, he was playing in the post. He was kind of the main guy for the Jazz, and he was just doing great. And he played good defense, too. Bojan was plus 37. I mean, he had a nice block. He was getting steals. Bojan looks like a new player in the last 10 games. And we've all seen it. You all agree. So it's really nice to see. Bojan, fantastic. Fantastic. George Niang is looking like he's going to get paid this offseason. I don't know if he's going to get monster money, but George Niang is looking really, really good. And he's looking like a player that could, if the Jazz want to get crazy this offseason and try some crazy trades and moves, and, sometimes you'll make a crazy trade and say, hey, you know what? We've got this guy, George Niang, who we think is good enough to be a starting power forward in the NBA because he hits 40% from three every single year. By the way, go look back at George Niang's basketball reference. Every year he's around 40%, if not higher. I think one year he was like 39. But every year he's like 40%. If the Jazz want to get crazy, they can. Because they've got guys that they can train and that will get better. I love George Niang. And guess what? I've been a George Niang fan for years. It was clear that he was the scapegoat for people who, I don't know why everyone was like down on George Niang last year. It was weird because all he did was shoot 40+% from three and make the right play. He was just on the floor with Ed Davis and Jeff Green, and we've talked about this a million times. We don't have to rehash it. George Niang is nice. And when you put George Niang with nice players, he gets open shots. And you know what George Niang does? He hits open threes. Tonight he was 6 for 9 from 3. Nice. That's very nice. So anyways, shout out to oh no, never mind. I was wrong. 5 for 7. 5 for 7, but 6 for 9 from the field. That's where he was nice. Rudy Gobert was just dominant. He just crushed them tonight. It's crazy how a player can score 12 points, have 10 rebounds, and arguably be, just one of the, just obviously the best player on the floor, just crushing people. Royce O'Neal too, 2 for 3 from 3. Royce O'Neal quietly is creeping back up in the 3-point percentage, so that's nice to see. He's shooting it with confidence. He gets a little rattled, and this is the one thing, it's nice to get back to winning with a blowout. But the thing that I want to see is this Jazz team do it against good teams. It's nice to see those shots falling now, but I don't want to see Royce rattled in big games, I want to see Royce hit threes, whether it's against the lowly Kings or whether you're playing the Phoenix Suns on Friday or whenever it is, that's what I want to see. I want to see like, and we talk about toughness. There's been times especially in those last 2 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves, it just felt like the Jazz were not, when I say soft, I'm not talking about physically, because obviously they are, there are times where they play hard, but like soft mentally, are you rattled? Are you scared? Are you ready to shoot the ball and score? Or are you worried? Are you scared you're going to lose the game? Don't be scared, Jazz. Shoot the ball. Royce, shoot the ball. You're a lights out shooter. Shoot it with confidence. Shoot it like you're going to make it. And good things will happen. Finally, Jordan Clarkson had a nice night. And yes, it was against the Kings, but it was just nice to see that shot falling. 8 for 14 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 23 points, a plus 31. Super nice to see Jordan Clarkson do that. And we know that Jordan Clarkson can do this against good teams too, because we've seen it. You just want to see Jordan Clarkson get back in that rhythm. That ankle injury that he had must have really just kind of knocked him, because it wasn't, he just didn't look the same. And, his floater game that has been so good this year has kind of left him for the last 20 games. It's just not been the same, but at least tonight it looked nice. And he's had a few games the last 2 or 3 games where it started to look like it's falling more and more. So if Jordan Clarkson can start doing that, that's exciting stuff. Really is. Not a lot else to talk about. Derek Favors looked fresh tonight. He played 12 minutes, which is nice. He needs rest. It's just Trent Forrest played 21 minutes tonight. Quinn must love him. 6 assists. I good for Trent Forrest. I'm not like rooting against him or anything. And the best thing is that he turns out to be really nice. I don't see it, but I could be wrong. Quinn loves him. Quinn loves him. And I don't see it. I don't see it. This is one of those things that Quinn does that just makes me question like the strategy, because we know that there's basically 2 players that play for the Jazz. You're either a center that rolls to the rim and defends the rim, and on defense you defend the rim, on offense you roll to the rim. You're big, tall, athletic, Rudy Gobert, Derek Favors, Udoka. Apparently the Jazz had him super high on their draft board. I don't know how true that is, but people say it, so maybe someone heard something that's actually true. And then, so that's the one position. And then the other position is ball handler that can shoot, is basically everyone on the Jazz now. You have, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic. Royce O'Neal has improved his handle. He actually drives and passes and shoots the ball. All 4 players can do those things. And then you've got Jordan Clarkson, George Niang. George Niang can shoot the ball, but George Niang can also put it on the floor and go to the rim. We saw him throw a lob to Rudy this game. If you can't do those things, you don't play. And so that's why it's always confusing to me that all of a sudden Quinn has this guy that's not a good shooter in Trent Forrest playing consistently. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Last year it was Moutier. There's just always a guy that Quinn just is it does not matter what that guy does. He will always get the benefit of the doubt, Jarrell Brantley tonight was fantastic. 5 for 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3. 13 points. He looked nice, and he's big, and he does nice things on the offensive end. I think he does need to be he needs time to kind of just be a little bit better defender, but Jarrell Brantley's a nice player, and I know that guy can't earn minutes no matter what he does. Trent Forrest is immediately going to play. The other guy that was nice was Matt Thomas. 7 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3. Before this game, his percentages were terrible. He is coming back to his average, and some of that is just his shot finally was falling, and some of that's because you're playing the third or fourth string for the Sacramento Kings. And so, I don't know. I love Jarrell Brantley, though. I think Jarrell Brantley deserves more minutes. I don't know why he doesn't get more minutes, but it is what it is. Other players that I like that I just don't understand. Miaoni doesn't get minutes. And people will say, well, his shooting's not great. Well, then why is Trent Forrest playing? Because we need a pure point guard? I mean, are we playing in 1997? Really? You have to have a pure playmaking point guard in this day and age, and instead of having Miaoni play the 4 and just have someone like Jordan Clarkson or Joe Ingles or Bojan Bogdanovic or anyone that can bring the ball up and initiate offense? Because Trent Forrest is not an above-the-rim threat either. He's not above the rim breaking down defenses. So it makes no sense to me. I would rather play Miaoni. Literally play Jarrell Brantley. He can handle the ball, can shoot, and can do some nice things. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why Quinn does things that seem like they're 1997 and then other things are modern. I don't know. Quinn's smarter than me. Quinn's smarter than me. But I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Also, maybe I am super biased because I want to see Elijah Hughes play, because I'm telling you, that guy has it. He just does. And if I could be wrong, but I've seen enough from that guy can do it. And it's one of those things that doesn't make sense to me, because I would feel like he's like the perfect Quinn Snyder player. Can shoot the ball, can drive, can pass. Why he doesn't play? I don't know. Maybe he knows the secret. There's some secret that Dante Exum learned at some point, and now he was forbidden from the court, for it would be discovered by others. Apparently, Elijah Hughes and Jarrell Brantley and, oh my gosh, Juwan Morgan have discovered some crazy secret in the catacombs of Quinn's temple or pyramid or something. It's like Juggernaut. Juggernaut discovered the crystal that gave him his powers. Maybe Quinn has a crystal in a pyramid, and Dante Exum knows the whereabouts and can never play. Because we got to keep the crystal and the power. Otherwise, who knows what may happen? Who knows? Elijah Hughes might actually do something nice and earn more minutes. And wouldn't that be terrible? Wouldn't that be just disappointing, right? But anyways, guess what, guys? One thing you'll always appreciate is that the Jazz won by 50 points, and I'm complaining about Quinn Snyder. So that's why we joined the Hoops Nerd channel. You can like and subscribe to this channel and this madness. If you would like, you can even join the channel. The button's right there. Let's see. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars, and our new All-Star, JT Wardell. Freaking buckets, JT. Guess what? I'm going to have to reload this because I want to see JT's name, because he deserves it, because he's an All-Star. Let's see here. We just did that just for JT. All right, let's give a shout out to the All-Stars. JT Wardell, buckets, JT. Austin R. Grant, Eric C. Kelsey Hamer, the Hammer. Donald Schooley, Cody Strickland, Mitt Robach. DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arizaga, mi amigo de Mexico. Lee Christensen, Shan Therick, Ryan Perry, the legend, Justin Ty H, Patrick Kakubo, my Utah Jazz buddy, Robert Hall, my Twitter friend, and DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, the Jazz won by almost 50 points. If stupid dumb Kings didn't try to make a last-second three-pointer. What are you trying to do? Win a basketball game? You're the Kings. That's not what you do. You lose games. You're the Sacramento Kings. Stop it. Stop it. All right? Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Join the channel if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. It's great. I appreciate it. I will talk to you guys next time.